All right, welcome. Our goal here is to give you a really clear, straightforward roadmap for launching your health tech startup right here in Barcelona. We're going to walk you through everything, from the initial legal setup all the way to securing that first round of funding. It's all about building a rock-solid foundation from day one. Okay, so we've broken this down into 5 parts. We'll kick things off with the big picture, the opportunity. Then we'll dive into the legal nuts and bolts, map out the funding strategy, look at the timeline, and finally, wrap it all up with your clear path forward. Let's get started. All right, first up, the strategic opportunity. We're going to talk about what makes this venture so powerful and why Barcelona is absolutely the right place to make it happen. So the core idea is brilliant, an AI-powered app for posture and movement analysis. But here's the really critical part, how we position it. We're not just building a fitness app. No, this has to be framed as a digital health platform focused on preventive care and clinical monitoring. Why does that matter so much? Because that one little shift in wording, that's the key that unlocks the door to some serious public R&D and health grants. It's a game changer. Okay, with that in mind, let's move on to building the corporate and legal foundation. Now, this isn't just boring paperwork, I promise. Think of this as building the engine of the car. It's the essential architecture that will support all the growth and funding to come. And let's kick this section off with some good news. The process is actually pretty quick and efficient here. To get your company incorporated, what's called a Sociedad Limitada, or just SL in Spain, you're looking at about 1 month. That's it. Pretty straightforward. Now, when it comes to incorporating, you've basically got 2 paths. Path 1 is the standard minimum capital route, which is just 3,000 euros. It gets the job done, but we really recommend Path 2, a strategic incorporation. This means putting in a bit more capital from the start, and here's why that's so important. It makes the company look much stronger, much more solvent on paper. This directly boosts your chances of getting approved for key public loans, especially one called a NISA, which we'll talk more about in a bit. Right, so from the very first day, we need to set up professional governance. This really boils down to 3 key things. First, a strategic appointment for the managing director. Second, we'll put in place a standard 4-year vesting schedule. This just means you, the founders, earn your shares over time, which shows everyone you're in it for the long haul. And third, we'll set aside an option pool, which is basically a block of shares reserved for future key hires to attract the best talent. Okay, let's zoom in on that managing director appointment because this is a really smart strategic move. We know the founding team is you 3, all under 35. So we recommend appointing the female co-founder as the official managing director. Now, let me be clear. This is a tactical decision. It has 0 impact on control or ownership. That's all handled separately in your shareholder agreement. But what it does do, and this is huge, is it instantly makes your company eligible for a whole set of public funds specifically designed to support female and youth-led startups. It's a simple move that unlocks some major funding opportunities. So this brings us to a really important question, one that a lot of founders face. You've already done a ton of work, you've got software, algorithms, valuable know-how. The question is, how do we correctly bring all of that into the new company? Now, your first thought might be, let's put a price on it and add it to the company as capital. And that makes sense, but it's actually a bit of a trap. Doing that can create some real financial complexities. It can inflate your balance sheet in a way that public funding agencies don't like to see. And even worse, it can actually limit the amount of money you can claim for future R&D grants. So it's something we need to avoid. The best way to handle this, the optimal solution, is something called an IP assignment agreement. It's really simple. It's just a clean, formal contract where you, the founders, transfer all that amazing prior work over to the company. The benefits are huge. It keeps the company's financials clean, it legally protects your intellectual property inside the company, and most importantly, it keeps you perfectly positioned to get the maximum amount of public funding down the line. All right, that foundation we just built leads us directly to the most exciting part, the public funding roadmap. The whole strategy here is to fuel your early growth using what's called non-dilutive funding. And that's just a fancy way of saying you get the money you need without giving up a single percentage point of your company. You give up 0 equity before we even think about talking to private investors. We've mapped this out as a 3-phase journey. For the first 1.5 years, we're focused 100% on public grants and special loans. Then, once you've got that under your belt and you're in a much stronger position, that's when you go for a seed investment round. You can even use that to unlock bigger R&D grants. And from there, phase 3 is all about hitting the market and scaling up. So let's look at phase 1 in more detail. We're targeting a very specific mix: a 99,000 euro grant from an agency called Oxio, another 30,000 or so in local grants, and then the big one, a 150,000 euro loan from ISA. And I have to stress this again. The ISA loan is fantastic because it requires zero personal guarantees from you as the founders. That's a huge deal. All told, our target for phase 1 is 279,000 euros. And if there's one number you take away from this whole section, it's this one: 0. 0%. That's how much of your company you'll give away in this first phase. Think about that. You'll be able to build your MVP, run a pilot, and bring in almost 280,000 euros, all while keeping 100% ownership and control. That is a powerful position to be in. Okay, so we have the strategy. Now let's talk about execution. How do we actually make all this happen? This is where we lay out the step-by-step plan for you. So, a quick note on how things work here in Spain. It's very, very common, standard practice really, to partner with specialized consultants who live and breathe this public funding world. You should think of this not as a cost, but as a strategic investment. It dramatically increases your chances of getting funded. And the fees are really straightforward. Typically, a small fixed fee to get started, and then a success fee of around 3% of whatever funds they help you secure. It's a model that works really well. So here's what that all looks like on a timeline. The first month is all about getting the company officially incorporated. Then, for the next few months, say 2 through 6, you're focused on building out that MVP, while in parallel, we're preparing all the funding paperwork. Months 6 to 12, that's application season. We submit everything. And then, between months 12 and 18, the funds start to come in. That's when you can run your first pilot, which sets you up perfectly to go out for your seed round and really start to scale. So to bring it all together, let's look at your path forward. What we've laid out for you is a professional, step-by-step, low-risk strategy. It's all about achieving controlled, smart growth. Really, the benefits of doing it this way boil down to 3 main things. First, we're minimizing your personal risk. You heard me mention those loans with no personal guarantees. That's huge. Second, every single decision we make from day 1 is about maximizing your chances of getting that public money. And third, it all adds up to a very structured, controlled way to grow. You'll be hitting major milestones and building real value long before you ever need to talk to a venture capitalist. And I want to leave you with this one final thought. What we've presented today, this isn't a speculative gamble. It's not a hope for the best kind of plan. It is a structured execution strategy. Every single step is designed to build a valuable, well-funded company while always protecting what matters most: your interests as the founders.